What's up, fam? Today's mukbang time. Mukbang.
You're Korean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat. I'm not gonna eat.
Okay.
I'm gonna eat, but I'm gonna be asking my sweet boyfriend some questions.
Thanks.
And you have to answer honestly.
That's fine.
Like, really honestly.
I always answer honestly.
Okay. Well, then I guess we'll just get started.
Alright.
So, for those of you who don't know, Michael and I met on Hinge,
Okay.
which is a dating app. So,
Shout out.
whenever I'm explaining to people, oh, my boyfriend's from 2 hours away, that's how somehow that magically happened. So, what did you honestly really think of me when you saw me on Hinge?
I thought you were really cute. Your profile was pretty artsy. I could tell because I could tell you used like a VSCO filter on like every photo you had on there.
Like,
I guess. I could tell you had a little bit of a personality based on. Excuse me. Based on the things that you had in your profile.
mm-hmm.
But that's what I liked about Hinge. Was it was like, is this sponsored content?
This video was sponsored by Hinge.
It's not. I could tell you had a little bit of a personality by the way you answered some questions.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say I screenshotted your profile to like show to friends.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if I did or not because the phone that I had when we started talking I broke.
Mm-hmm.
I just died because it was old. Yeah, I could tell you kind of had that like Instagram kind of like VSCO like aesthetic going on,
Mm-hmm.
based on your photos. You definitely had a little bit of a personality, at least on Hinge, as opposed to when I, like got the full bore of you.
As opposed to when I met you in real life, and you were so boring.
And you're so boring. No, I remember because on our first date, we literally, like, we got in the car and we did not stop talking until, like, we went and ate, and we went and ran around to, like, Walmart and walked around for, like, 2 hours, and just literally, like, did not stop talking. But no, so, like, yeah, I don't know. I think I was explaining that...
Rude.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Whoops.
I think I was explaining that to you the other day that, like, there was something about, like, when I saw you that I was like, because first off, you matched with me, because you commented, I had a picture of my dogs on there, and, commented, like, on the picture of my dogs, and, like, it's like, what? She's a girl, like, you message me. I remember because I was kind of taken aback by it, like in a good way. I was kind of like, oh, that's like a nice, like that's okay, like that's nice, like it made me feel. It just dropped my phone. It's whatever. Just it kind of made me feel like a little special. And I was like, oh, you see me, like I'm not a looker, right?
Yes,
So thanks. So it's like, oh, that's sweet of you. What did you think of me?
Like when I first met you?
No, on Hinge.
Oh.
This is the question.
Right.
When
I forgot
I first
what we were
met
talking about.
You're like, oh, thank God he looks better in person.
No.
I kid.
Honestly, because we're being honest here, I wasn't too sure. Like, no, it's gonna sound bad. Okay.
You're like, just another guy, just another man.
Now listen, with dating profiles, it's really hit or miss. Like, there's some people where it's like, okay, so you know how, like, in some pictures, people look a certain way, and they look different in other pictures?
Yeah.
You're like, I don't really look like... It wasn't like that with you. Like, I could tell what you looked like.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. And, like, I was like, he, like, seems interesting, but he could be one of those people that, like, you meet in real life and they're just horrible.
Yeah.
And so, like, it wasn't like I was expecting you to be horrible. I was just like, But your profile was also kind of vague.
Yeah.
Like you didn't give up. Like, give up too much info.
That's how yours was. I can't remember the specifics of your profile. I just remember that it was like kind of vague.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what I liked about Hinge. I kind of like said that earlier, but it was like that whole like how you answer the questions about like drink, smoke, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, good. So we got like the red flags, like the basics, like out of the way. So I know like, oh, she's on like a base level. She's like, all right. So I can, I'll talk to her and see where it goes.
Okay. So, like I said, he lives 2 hours away. So whenever you go back to your hometown,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't text you back immediately, do you ever like panic about that?
No.
Or like think like, oh my god, what's she doing? Like, why is she not texting me back?
No. I just assume that you're like napping or working or like in class.
It's always napping.
Right. Because until this coronavirus thing like popped off, I mean, we had a fairly, I don't want to say routine, but like we established very early on, because I mean, we talked for what, like about 2 weeks of just like texting and stuff. We messaged for a little bit, about a week, and then we texted for about 2 weeks before we like went on our first date, because again, she's like 2 hours away. So established early on when we were talking, kind of like, oh, I can't have my phone out at work, like I'll respond to you, when I get home or whatever. And I just assume, like, we're both adults, so I assume that you aren't playing some sort of like mind game, some sort of like psychological warfare of like, I'm gonna like wait and see, because I mean, that I like double text like nobody's business. I'm one of those, like, every thought I like send a text, right? So like, so pretty fast at responding. So I know that if you don't respond quickly, it's because you're like doing something.
Mm-hmm.
But we established that routine early on of like, oh, I'm at work, like I'm not gonna have my phone out.
Mm-hmm.
So, story short, no, I don't really freak out, because I'm just like, oh, she's napping. No, I mean, if you go, like, there are situations that would concern me, like if you went like all day without like talking to me or something.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a like a trust thing. That's like a, oh my god, is she okay? Like,
Right.
Like our relationship is fairly grown up, in that we're not like, we don't play those games of like, ooh, like I gotta wait till I text them back, and they're like, no.
Alright, what would you change about me if you could, both physically and personality-wise? And you can't say nothing, you have to say something.
No, I'm thinking. That's fine. I think it.
I was like, oh, let me get out my
No,
book and things I want to
let
change
me pull out my
about you.
notebook. Physically, I don't know if there's anything I'd change about you. I like you how you are. Personality, I'd make you more decisive.
Mm-hmm.
She's like indecisive to a T, and she always chalks it up as like, oh, I'm a Libra, like I'm indecisive, and I'm always like, no, I think you're just indecisive.
All my Libras out there will get it.
Yeah, whatever. I'm a very like decision maker, because of my background. So I'm like, yes, no, like make a choice right now. Like we have to, make a choice, stick with it. If it's the wrong choice, it's fine, stick with it. Have an explanation for why you make the choice you do. Like that sort of stuff is like, because I've kind of grown up like professionally in that environment. I think if there was one thing I would change about her, I would say that's the only thing. That's probably the only thing though that I would change about you is like just be more decisive.
Mm-hmm. I could break it to you, it probably won't happen.
That's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine, because we have a good thing going where you just let me make the decision. And I just say, instead of asking you, oh, what do you want for lunch? And you're like, I don't know, Sonic, Chick-fil-A, excuse me, what did I say? Sonic, Chick-fil-A, or
Subway.
Subway, which of those sounds good? And she's like, how about Chick-fil-A? And I'm like, she's like either Sonic or Chick-fil-A. And I'm like, Chick-fil-A sounds good. And she's like, yeah, Chick-fil-A sounds good. If there was anything I would change about you, just be more decisive.
What are your turn-offs? Like, automatically.
Oh my god. Where do I begin?
Picky.
Well, yeah. I think I have standards. Somebody with no goals. Somebody with no aspirations. Like a lifetime is a long time. Somebody who can't commit, that's a turn off. Only because, I mean, she knows I'm the master of, like, commitment, so.
We're getting married next week.
Yeah. Somebody who can't commit, you know, that's a big turn off. In some ways, it's also kind of a red flag if somebody, you know, like, can't commit. Somebody who's dumb. But not just, I don't just mean like stupid, like somebody who has no sense about them, you know, that's a big one. Somebody with no sense of humor. I think that's fairly universal though. I think most people would say that. Like everybody likes to laugh, you know, like doesn't matter what language you speak, like, I think everybody likes that.
Oh my gosh, you haven't eaten any of your nuggets.
I haven't even touched my nuggets. I've been like
We're popping, bucko.
chatting. I know.
Okay.
Somebody who doesn't seek to improve themselves. That's really it. Somebody who has no drive to be like better. And I'm not saying like competitive, but somebody who kind of looks at themselves in the mirror and is like a go-getter, but you know, like somebody who isn't driven to like, oh, like maybe I should actually hit the gym. You know, like, I feel bad about myself, I should change it, you know, but they have no, like, willpower to, like, actually go, like, do something, like, that sort of stuff. Like, you have to have, I want somebody who has some, like, drive to be like, no, like, I can be, like, a better person. Okay.
This one I, like, kind of stole from Haley Pham, but I, like, want to... Okay. How does a girl's fashion sense stick out to guys? Like, what is it, like, that... I don't know. Like, what do you find most attractive?
Like,
if that makes sense.
in a fashion sense? I just spilled french fries all over my seat. Okay, so this is going to be kind of like a clown answer, like a kind of like obvious answer. I think your fashion sense is like attractive. Like, I think you have a good style. Like somebody who can dress professionally. Like, I like somebody who knows how to dress themselves. That's what I like. And I think most guys are pretty easy to please. Like, I think most guys just pay attention to, like, short shorts in the summer and, like, yoga pants in the winter. I don't know if, like... stealing...
Looks inappropriate, but I'm just going for the nuggets.
Stealing the biggest nugget that I have here.
That's actually...
Put it right there. It's 2 nuggets that have been, like, cooked together.
Your biggest nugget.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I read Men's Health and GQ, so, like, I kind of pay... Like, I mean, I at least pay attention to, like, how, like, people dress themselves. I mean, she'll tell you that, like, I own 1 pair of basketball shorts, and you'll never see me in sweatpants outside unless it's after 10 o'clock at night and we're, like, getting ice cream and not leaving the car. Like, I don't leave my house without a belt on, right? That's, like, the kind of person that I am. So, like... I think a woman's fashion sense sticks out to me because it's like I think the way you dress says a lot about your character. And I think that's fairly true and that's fairly universal, but like, I mean, you have a good, like, style. And I mean, I think you can pull off pretty much anything you wear. For me, I think that's the angle that I look at it, is that's how I've always approached, like, fashion and, like, style, I guess, is, like, what you wear is a reflection of your personality.
So you like more dressed up than dressed down?
No. I like sweatpants and t-shirts, or, like, leggings and, like, an oversized t-shirt. I think that's like a cute look. But when I look at somebody and I, like, evaluate their like fashion sense. So for me it's more of like what does their fashion sense say about them, like as a person, like the way they choose to present themselves. It's, you know, that kind of idea of like, oh, like what does modesty reveal about a person, you know, what is dressing like modestly, or like why do billionaires only wear t-shirts and jeans, like is it because they understand like good financial decision making, or is it because it's comfortable and cheap, like that sort of thing. That's what I pay attention to with the way people dress.
Their t-shirts cost $2,000.
No. I mean, if you shop at Old Navy or Walmart, you can get like
What
t-shirts
billionaire do you know
$4.
shops at Old Navy?
Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs dead, Warren Buffett.
Anyway.
I mean, I need somebody to go with me to like events that require that.
To prom.
Yeah.
Need somebody to go to prom with me.
Nerd prom. You know, I like a girl who looks good in, you know, leggings and a t-shirt and rocks it, but can also like throw on some pearls and like an evening gown. Mm-hmm. Like that's, yes, like that's a look, you know. So, but I think fashion sense says more about you, like as a person.
Which of my personality traits clash most with yours? And then you could also go the other way and, you know, like which of my personality traits merge with yours very well.
Well, I want to know your take on this. I don't know what you think of mine. That's a good question. The first, I'm kind of thinking about it to see if I have a different answer, and I don't really. Kind of fly by the seat of your pants just a little bit, and that gives me a little bit of anxiety because, you know, I'm like a planner. Mm-hmm. I'm like every morning we get up and I'm like, all right, like what do you have to do today? You know, I get up at the same time every day. I eat relatively the same thing for breakfast. You know, I follow like a routine. Mm-hmm. You're a little more like fly by wire, kind of like on the fly decision maker. I don't think that's a bad thing. I wish I had the anxiety level to do that. Like a schedule and like a plan. Not all the time. Like when I travel, I don't like a plan. You know, when I travel, I like to just be like, where am I waking up? Where am I going to bed? Where am I getting food in between that? And kind of like leave everything else up to whatever. So I would say you're kind of, if there's one personality trait that kind of clashes with me, it'd be either that or back to kind of like just your indecision. And that's not a bad thing because we have it's like complementary, right? It's like a positive feedback cycle because it's like you may be indecisive, but I am like a decision maker, like an executive decision kind of person. So it's one of those where I would say it only clashes because I look to you for options. Like, where are we going to go eat? I'm like, what are you in the mood for? Like the classic, right? Like the classic, like boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, oh, what do you want to eat? Like, oh, I don't know. What do you want to eat? Like, no, I'm asking you. And I think that it may clash in that way. But I think that, like, we have like a system to keep it frictionless. Right? Of where I'm like, hey, like, of these options, what sounds good? And you're like, that. And I'm like, okay, we're going to do that. And you're like, okay, cool. I would say if it doesn't clash, it's definitely something we're opposites on. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, because we're opposites, maybe it clashes. But I think that we're both, like, reasonable enough people that we just, like, you can't make a decision, I can, so I do, you know. Complementary, there's a lot of your personality traits that like work well with mine. You're kind of a hopeless romantic, which is good because like I am too. Let me talk a lot, which is good because I have a lot to say like all the time. What else? trying to think. What else? Me make decisions,
Mhm.
which is nice because I like making decisions,
Mhm.
which is fine. So that actually kind of works out. We're gonna eat. What are we gonna do today? That sort of thing. On a basic level, like a very like entry level, we enjoy the same kind of like movies. We enjoy the same kind of like TV shows, like that sort of thing. So I mean, that's good. I guess in some ways you could say that's personality. I don't think watching The Office is a personality trait. So, you know, whatever. It's the tea. It's fine. What are your thoughts on that? Both those things, clashes and compliments.
I think clash-wise, it has a lot of my personality traits clash with each other. If that makes sense. Like, okay.
No, that makes sense. I see it.
Like,
That makes sense. Yep.
like I'm messy, but I'm organized. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like I like to go, but I don't like to make decisions on what I do when I go.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so I feel like with a lot of my like indecision, for example, we work really well in the sense that, you know, you're really good at making decisions and things like that.
Yeah.
But I also think it like has a lot to do with like you're very organized and you stick to your routine, which is good because like I'm also decently organized. Like I'm messy, but I'm organized.
Yeah.
You're not messy. You're very clean. You're very ambitious, and I'm not ambitious.
Right.
But I like laying around, like on.
No, I agree.
Like I enjoy a good lazy day, and I think that where we clash the most is only because like in my head I'm like, oh, I need to be better at this because he's good at this.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost competitive.
Where I'm like, oh, if I'm good at this, like it's not gonna stress me out because like he won't have to worry about it.
Okay, I got you. What's an example?
Like
That's interesting.
me working more on not being messy because I'm
Mhm.
like, Michael's not messy and I don't want to like be messy, and like it's fine now because we don't live together and like, you know, our relationship is a baby flower. It's just starting to blossom, you know.
Yeah.
But X amount of years down the line, when we've been together for a long time, it's all gonna rise to the surface like, oh my god, you're so messy. Like, why did I do this? Like, our house is a mess. And I, like, want to, you know, nip that in the bud while I can.
Oh, you plan on sticking around.
It's
That's my takeaway.
It's one of those things where, like, our personality traits don't clash. We're just very different, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, they don't clash. They're just, like, I'm not dating myself.
Right.
But, yeah, they don't clash.
I'm trying to think of, like, an instance where we're so similar that we do clash. Because we're like, oh, I want it my way, I want it my way. That's another thing, is you're also... I'm such a brat. I'm like, oh, I want it my way.
You are.
And you never find it.
I mean, people have complained to me. I've got crumbs all over me. People have complained to me in the past, like, oh, like, you're so nonchalant about everything. Like, do you even care, sort of, like, a deal? Like, you're so laid back. Like, you know. So it's like, yeah, sometimes you want it your way, and that's totally fine. Sometimes I think there are situations that we've been in, where, like, you want it your way, and I'm like, that's fine, but, like, maybe there's, like, a better way of doing this. Like, there's an easier way. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a specific example.
I think about it, like, the instance that comes to mind was especially, like, when we first started dating, where, like, I have a very specific, like, oh, this is Kayla time, and it's usually toward like the end of the day where like
Yeah.
I want to watch my shows and eat my snacks and do what I want for the rest of the day.
Yep.
And so obviously I was thrilled to have you for Kayla time, but I was like, he's not gonna want to watch Grey's Anatomy for hours upon hours. But
What happened?
now we watch Grey's Anatomy for hours upon hours, and I felt really guilty about it at first. So I was like, you know, I should try watching what he wants to watch. And still to this day, like, I have that issue. I'm like, you know, I should, you know, let you, you know.
Pick.
Yeah. But you also, like, seem to be at least semi-interested in what I watch. It makes me feel a little bit better.
I do. You have, like, I mean, I've told you that. Like, I had never watched Grey's Anatomy, like, using that example. And then, like, I get stuck down here for quarantine. My luck, of all places. And, just kidding. I've enjoyed it so far. She's like, oh, we're going to watch Grey's Anatomy. And I'm like, all right, like, I'll just lay here and read a book. Like, it's fine. And then, like, 15 minutes in, I'm like, realized I haven't even, like, turned the page on the book because I'm just, like, watching Grey's Anatomy with you. And we get, like, 2 or 3 episodes in, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I actually like Grey's Anatomy. Like, you know what? Tonight, like, let's, like, eat some snacks, watch Grey's Anatomy.
It's my favorite time of the night.
Yeah.
Where, like, we get in bed and we watch Grey's Anatomy and we eat snacks.
See, because when I'm not here, we have what's our routine called? It's our favorite. What do we call it? We call it our favorite time of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when I'm not down here, and it's like because it's long distance, right? It's like long distance relationships. You have to make them work. Like it's the same as a regular relationship, except everything is just turned to 11, right? Like communication, trust, like all respect, everything. So like. You know, we realized that both of us stay up until, like, at least 11, and she's in a different time zone than I am, which is important. It's critical. So she's actually, I'm in Eastern, she's in Central. She's an hour behind me when I'm home. So, like, if it's midnight at home, it's only 11 o'clock down here. So, like, we do this thing that we call, what is it, our favorite, we just call it our favorite time of the night. It's my favorite time of the night. It's what I always refer to it as. And just like the time of the night where I'm like getting ready for bed and I'm like, okay, like I'm going to text Kayla while I'm laying in bed and just talk to Kayla for like an hour. And just kind of sit there and talk to Kayla for a little bit. Usually one of us just like falls asleep.
You always fall asleep first.
It's always me, yeah.
Because you're an hour ahead, and also you always just fall asleep first anyway.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, it works. What else? You have any nuggets of wisdom that you've learned about being in a long distance relationship?
I have a nugget for you.
Thanks.
I don't know how wise it is, but you can give it a bite.
How wise?
Nuggets of wisdom. Repeat what you said. Nuggets of wisdom about our relationship exactly.
That you've learned being in a long distance relationship.
We have it decently lucky because 2 hours is not that far away.
Could be worse.
Yeah, and like we can just drive to each other like in, you know, a couple hours. It's not like, you know, I have to fly to you like once every, you know, couple months or something.
Right.
So we have it pretty lucky that we only live a couple hours away. And so, like, we really did take advantage of that. Like, even when we were in quarantine, like, he would come down. It's a little bit easier for him to come down during the week than me to come up because I have class and work every single day. And so, and he has like a little bit of leniency with his work hours, like when he can go in and when he can go and whatever.
Yeah.
And so, like, he would always come down at least like once or twice a week.
Usually my minimum standard that I kind of set for myself. Graduated, she's not. So I just work full time. So, but I have, like she said, I have leniency. I have like my job, I have flexibility and like, do I have to be in the office? I can work from home. When do I need to be in the office? What I have going on today? That sort of thing. So my like kind of minimum standard was one night a week, and then on the weekends, I'd come see you. It was kind of like the bare minimum, and usually I'd come down, usually more than that.
Yeah, it was usually like every other day.
Yeah, which is a lot of driving, but I mean, it's 2 hours, and it's good, like, music time. So, and I like, it's a scenic drive, like that sort of thing, so.
And I always try, if I can at least, like make an effort to go up and see him on the weekends. Like we would like alternate weekends occasionally, and sometimes I wouldn't be able to go up there, so you would come down or whatever.
Usually if you can't go up, then I'm just like, okay, I'll just come down here.
Right.
So it's never really an issue.
Like I once went up there Friday night, had to work Saturday night. So drove down Saturday morning and then drove back up Saturday night and stayed Sunday.
It was really sweet of you.
It's doable, and it's been pretty easy for us, especially since we've been in lockdown together.
For 4 weeks.
This is our 5th week.
5th week.
Being quarantined together.
Yep.
And I honestly, I think like a couple of weeks ago, he went home for a night, and I was like, like this is gonna be nice, like it's gonna be some alone time, like it'll be super sick. And then like as soon as he like went home, I was like, oh, well now I'm bored, what am I gonna do now? Like,
yeah,
he is the one that like encourages us to do things.
Like
we went hiking today. It was his idea.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was kind of my idea. It was on my bucket list.
It's on your bucket list, and I was like, hey, check the weather. I like woke you up. I shook you. And I was like, hey, the weather's nice. Like, eat breakfast. We're going to go hiking today. It's on your bucket list.
So, I'd say so far, I've noticed that we work pretty well together.
So far, we work pretty well together. Which is good, because, I mean, I've been in situations in the past where that's not true, which is good. I had my doubts about being quarantined together.
For sure.
I did.
I was very nervous. And I honestly didn't expect for it to go on this long.
I didn't either. I was like, oh yeah, it'll be like a fun like 2 weeks of like hanging out with Kayla, and then I'll be back to my like regular routine. Which is fine that it hasn't, because what I found is that we're pretty great together. So.
Yeah, I was very nervous. My mentality on it up until this point is living with your significant other ruins the relationship.
That's my experience.
And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to do that. I know eventually I'm going to like have to live with my significant other. That's how you advance in a relationship. But I was like, you know what? Not for a long time. And we don't live together, obviously.
I'm just kind of like stuck. Just kind of like stuck in one place.
But it's been living together essentially for the past 5 weeks. So
it's been super easy.
Yes, we've had a good time.
We have.
So, do you have any comments, questions, or concerns?
I think that's it.
I guess that's it.
Could do like a whole video talking about like long distance relationship stuff. But yeah, no, I mean I think that's really it.
Sick. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Cool.
Bye!